There are definitely people that I've met on ships that the lifestyle just didn't mesh with them very well, and they moved on to other stuff.
The next question I have for you is some of the challenges of working on cruise ships. So I guess we can work kind of chronologically, because I think that the challenges kind of evolve based on, in the beginning, kind of your naivete, and then later on when you're a little bit more experienced on ships, and now it's just like, well, now I know what to expect, and now it's really just these things that I'm having to deal with. So I guess in the beginning, what were the main challenges that you had just being a newbie on the ship?
Adjusting to the different work environment and just, figuring out how things worked. Yeah, just adjusting to the drastically different type of work. You're working 24/7, you're constantly on call, you've got a deck phone, and if somebody calls you, you're expected to go into work regardless of what time it is. So like, if it's 4 a.m. and I'm asleep and something breaks and somebody needs something fixed, then I go in at 4 a.m. and fix the lights or whatever. So just being constantly on call, constantly alert and like ready for anything, and that was an adjustment. Now it's just like, this is how it is.
And now that you're used to those challenges, and especially in terms of work and having a deck phone, things like that, what are the things that you've gotten used to that you really understand that, yes, this is a challenge, but I'm mature enough to handle them now because I've been on like 3-4 contracts?
When you go around to different ships, there's kind of this inconsistency almost between like the standard of equipment that I'm working with. So I remember I started out on Anthem of the Seas, which is based out of New York, and I moved to the Asian market on Quantum of the Seas, and I did 2 contracts on Quantum, and the resources that we have to work with on an Asian ship versus an American ship are completely different. And it's almost like being cut off from the company in a way, because you're like a full day's time zones in the future, so it's a very small subsection of the market. So the company kind of leaves you alone a little bit more than you're used to. And there's a lot more that you just have to kind of be independent and do for yourself, especially when it comes to ordering new parts for broken lights and, being a lot more resourceful when it comes to fixing stuff. And because everything needs to be shipped back to the States in order to get it fixed, unless you can find parts in Japan or China or something like that, which I had to do a lot of the time. But yeah, that's something that it definitely took some getting used to. I'm at the point now that I have my own toolkit to like that I bring on every contract to do maintenance and repairs and stuff, because I don't know what I'm going to be confronted with when I get to X ship. Sure. So yeah, it's nice. I've got kind of a consistent bag of tools that I can bring and know that I'm going to have the same equipment to work with and stuff like that.
Right. Did you ever experience the cruise ship loneliness? I know you had Cass with you, but did you ever feel that, where you're like kind of isolated from the rest of the world and family? And
towards the beginning of the pandemic, for sure, yes, because we were literally stuck on the ship, and in a much bigger way, we were completely cut off from the world. You can't get off the ship and go into a port and see people and, experience a completely different country. You're just here with this set group of people, and you all have this kind of shared circumstances, of course, but we were still cut off. And there were definitely days where, you just want to lie in bed and not do anything. So I'm very grateful that YouTube just happened, and I started to actually, pull myself out of that and have something to do to give myself purpose and connect me more to the outside world.
I'm glad that you have YouTube as well. To provide everybody with that insight, because I think that's great, and everybody I think that's important for people to be able to see what's going on behind the scenes, especially like during a time like that.
One of the reasons I got so lucky, I think, is it's a story that nobody else was telling, and people are very interested in what's going on with cruise ships right now because nobody's cruising, and that's something that people are just universally interested in, is stuff that they can't see, the man behind the curtain.
What advice would you give to the people who are looking to work on cruise ships and they're just really eager to do it, even now?
I get people asking me about that all the time. It's cool. It's actually really cool how many people are interested in it nowadays. I think there's a lot of growth potential for that just general labor market. I think that's really exciting because people are finally realizing what a cool job it is. You have to be open-minded. You have to be ready for anything. You have to be willing to work hard constantly and to the point that you're almost burning yourself out and then just take a break for 2 months. It's a lot. There's a lot of work just being constantly thrown at you, and you have to be ready for that. You have to be able to work with other people as a team, as a cohesive unit, and you have to be just ready to experience new cultures and be open-minded to other people's ideas and ways of life. And there's just so much diversity in not only your social interactions, but your operations within your own job, because you're working on a team of people that come from all sorts of different work backgrounds, and you have to all just kind of work together to figure out your problems and get your stuff done. So, communicating and just finding common ground with people that you don't necessarily have a lot in common with, very important. But most of all, just being open-minded and being ready to experience new stuff and be exposed to the world.
I agree with that 100% because, there's so much that you can't, we talked about it earlier, there's just no way to prepare for everything on the cruise ship. And even the most seasoned people who are working on cruise ships, you walk onto another ship and something else is going on.
New environment.
That's right. And there are all these different types of ships, different people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, it's an absolutely unique, amazing experience. I don't think it's necessarily for everyone. There are definitely people that I've met on ships that the lifestyle just didn't mesh with them very well. And, they moved on to other stuff. But, it takes specific kinds of people. In general, I think it's a very positive thing if you kind of open your mind and let things happen.
Right. I'll say that, I feel like my experience on cruise ships, it really opened me up and made me think about the world completely differently and what opportunities were out there for me. Made me think about people differently. Like I didn't even read, I knew Greece was a place and they had their own language, but I never really heard the Greek language until I went to cruise ships.
And then you just you get to hang out with a bunch of dudes from Greece and get to know what it's like living there, and just swapping stories over some beers in the bar and just learning about each other's cultures and ways of life. And it's so cool. And that will always be my favorite part of working on cruise ships, is getting to know people and getting to experience the world through other people's lives.
Riley, dude, thank you so much for taking the time.
Of course.
Yeah. And I really appreciate your wisdom. I'm sure we have a lot of the same followers, but for the 3 people who don't know you, where can they find you?
I'm at youtube.com/Riley Tench. I just put out my crew area tour, which goes over all the neat like hidden areas like the crew bar and like different entertainment venues in the crew mess and where we eat and exercise and all that stuff. So it's a great video. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'm hoping it'll do well.
I just watched it today, and I don't recommend this, but I did watch it in the car on the way home because I was in some traffic. Don't do it, but definitely watch it when you're at home in a safe environment.
Yes, definitely.
But anyway, again, Riley, thank you, and yeah.